Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another OurMFC episode. How is everyone doing? It has been a while, or what feels a while. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I'm joined by Matty today. How's it going, Matty? All right?
All right, mate. Yeah, going well. Apart from the Boro performances, but we'll get into that in due course.
We certainly will. We certainly will. It's not been the first 10 games that we all imagined. I feel like, to be fair, I've said it's. I mean, I know like we missed a couple of weeks here and there, and you haven't always been on, and sometimes it's just been me and that kind of stuff. But I feel like actually every time we've came on, I've kind of started with, oh, well, it's not the start that we'd wanted. It's
It might
kind
be
of
me. I might
everyone's
be a bad luck
saying.
jinx at this point.
I know, yeah.
I
I
might just need to go.
have
Is
we
that right?
even
You've been
have we
lucky,
ever
guys.
spoke about a win yet? I'm not sure.
I don't think we have actually. I think you have by yourself, but I don't think I have when I've been here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Jesus,
There hasn't
bit of
been
a
a win
scary thought,
for
that
a
innit?
while, has there? So,
Scary
um,
thought, that.
but yeah, obviously today it's a bit of a double whammy. We'll talk about the Cardiff game, and then we'll get into the Rotherham game. Kind of sum up our thoughts on the 10 games as a whole, kind of our feelings going into the international break, and kind of where the club goes from here. I know there's a lot of rumours floating about people saying, is it time for Wilder to leave, that kind of stuff. So we'll share our thoughts on that and talk about that. So, like I say, we'll get straight into the Cardiff game, and I'll start with saying that it's got to be the worst first half performance I've probably ever
Yeah.
seen, um, that I can recall. I don't think there's too many. Obviously, I mean, the worrying thing is the other one was this season against QPR. Um, but apart from like that game, I can't think of any other first half that really like we were just calamitous. It was just awful, absolutely awful. What were your thoughts on that, mate?
Well, I've been properly going for nearly 10 years now, and I think you said exactly what I was going to say. I don't think I've ever seen a first half more abysmal than that. Right, I was in hospitality for that game. Right, I was in the Legends Lounge,
Oh
and the most
yeah, I think you told
entertaining,
me afterwards.
yeah, and the most entertaining thing about that was Bernie Slavin's speech with me coffee and mints. Right,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think I was watching it. Right, I was sat there in my shirt, as you do, and looking all smart, and I was just thinking, what's going on here? What was it like? How do we concede three or four? Like, it's it's it scrambles my brain even thinking about it now. Like,
Yeah,
because
it was such a hard
especially
watch.
when it just because it draws your mind back to like at the start of the season when all the bookies are backing us, everyone's backing us, saying we've got Wilder, we're going to be good, and then we go and concede that many goals to Cardiff City at home.
Mm,
And like I'm just there, like I ended up just going to get about 4 cups of tea and just sitting there reading the program on the table. I
yeah,
just left. I
yeah.
left.
I mean, I've got a mate at football that um, when Cardiff had scored the second, obviously we didn't look like playing in the first place. So he went down after they scored the second. He went to the toilet, came back, it was 3-0. He went, no,
Yeah,
screw this, I'm going to the pub. So he just went to the pub. He didn't even bother watching the second
yeah.
half.
That's what I was with. My dad's mates as well. My dad's mates were there. They left, and then we had the tiny little glimpse of hope, and then they left, and then and then they just started messaging me. And my dad's like, "Can we get back in?"
Yeah.
Like even as like they left, they sent me a picture of them in the pub. Right, I think they were in the Central, and then they got to the Central by the time I was there, and they said, "Oh, can we get back in?" And I was like, "You don't want to, mix. Even though it's 3-2, like it was still awful."
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was there watching it, and I just left, and I don't think I've ever seen my dad more depressed in my entire life. He was
Mate,
just there. He was like,
it was unexplainable that first half, like, and that was off the back of like a couple of decent games. A couple of decent performances where the crowd's right behind them, and it just that first half felt like you were being brought right back down to earth, and it was we were. I mean, to be fair, I know there's all these claims around like the formation that we were playing, the players that were playing, or that kind of stuff, but I mean, if you look at all them goals and you pick them apart, they were all individual errors. They were all
Mm.
things that no manager could stop. I mean, you look at Johnny Howson, for example. You know, he's 33 years old. He's got years of experience, a lot of
And he's
appearances
still one of the
under his
most
belt.
energetic players on that field. We say it all the time.
He's one of the most energetic
Like
players on the pitch, but even him, with all that
he
experience,
can't
like
manage it himself.
he lost the ball. He lost the
Yeah,
ball in the middle, and that kind of summed up. I mean, you know, if Johnny Howson's having a bad game, you kind of know how the game's gonna
yeah,
pan out. Um,
yeah. We spoke about it before. Like we we can't because I think when you look at it back, like are we doing that thing again where we sort of isolate Houghton and expect him to do everything on his own again?
yeah, I know
Where
we've
like
spoke about that a lot.
we've spoken about that before, and we can't let him do that because an extension lead for locking table. That's one for the bloopers reel. But yeah, we can't rely on Johnny Howson solely in the middle of the park, and that's what I've heard a lot of people say because they think that like it's the midfield that seems to be the problem because we've got people. We were promised marquee signings in midfield, right? We need people who are up there to help Howson, who are there with players like Howson to link up to him, do all of that. We were promised signings that we're going to do that, and we all got excited on this podcast. We got excited,
Yeah,
and then we haven't really seen anything. And then it's just sort of like, oh god, it's like because the middle of the park's where we're making the most errors. We're making the most errors in the middle of the park, and then it's just the team. It's sort of like the opposition, latch like a pack of hyenas. They're just like going
yeah,
on it. They're like all there, and then they capitalize. Like we saw, we can't have three times. Like, and then we've got the wing backs as well. So I'm going on a rant here, if you mind me.
no, no, no,
But
keep
we've got
going.
we've got the wing backs now, which I think most teams are recognizing are what we play. We play wing backs. Then I think I've noticed in the past couple of games they've got all their men on the wing backs because they know that's where we're going to try and get the ball to. So then they other teams are finding out our weaknesses and they're
Mm,
exploiting them now.
yeah.
So it's a thing of like, do we change things up? Or is it's all of that. Like, there's a lot of questions to be asked. I think.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, that Cardiff game, obviously, was still talking about the first half, but yeah, it did feel that way. There was just a lack of energy. There was a lack of. I think I put a tweet out, and for me, what was the most disheartening was the lack of fight, the lack of wanting to play for that shirt and
Yeah,
play for the badge. And do you know, I think we've spoke about it plenty. But I have this conversation all the time. People in the local area, you know, we are a working class area, and
yeah,
you know what? Even if you were having a shit game, if you go out there, you give it your all, you put 100% in, that's all anyone can ask of you. And yeah,
yeah,
if you've had a bad game but you've put it all in, you can hold your hands up and go, look, I had a bad game today. I deserve to be subbed off, but I've left it all out there. And for me, the players in that first half didn't do that. There were I remember
no,
watching that third goal, the tracking back was absolutely atrocious. He plays a simple 1-2, which is
I've
far
seen better defending. I've seen better
far.
defending from my brother's Tibbs team, right? And I
Well,
know
there
it's
you
a bold
go.
statement. I've seen better statement when my brother played for Tibbs. Like it's like, what were we doing tracking back there? I was sat there
It
with my
was
dad. When
woeful.
I was at the Rotherham game, my dad wasn't there. He's on holiday. But with that one, when I was sat next to him, the third goal went in. I just looked at him, and he's just there like that. It's like I think everyone was just bamboozled. Like how a defense like that could not track back.
It just
Like
didn't
it's
make sense. And I think, to be fair, like, although really, I'm talking, you know, the last like 10 years, I want to say, if I'm being honest, we have we've never really been a team that's big for conceding goals.
no,
I know under Woodgate we had some troubles, but um, it wasn't like massive. But it feels like, especially this, like I say, the start of um, this season, there's been a couple of occasions where we've just had our asses handed to us, and like I say, whether that we've been tactically found out a bit or not sure what it
yeah,
is, but yeah, it's strange to see. But I mean, going into the second half, there was plenty of fight in us. and
Oh yeah.
obviously, I mean, Wilder said in the presser that he said that he was quite calm at halftime. I don't know how he managed to stay calm.
I wouldn't have been
If
calm. I would have been bouncing off the
I'd have
walls,
lost
mate.
it.
I would have been going mental.
Yeah, I think if I was ever to be a manager, um, which could well be a possibility when I get my coaching badges, um, I think I'd have lost me shit. I know that they're professionals and they know what they need to do, but like you've got to stick it on them when it's needed. But whatever he said seemed to work. Obviously, the lads came out fighting. You're pushing. Cardiff, to be fair to them, defended pretty well. Their centre back
Yeah.
was pretty shit hot
I
with
know which one you
balls.
mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with any
I can't
balls
remember his
in the
name.
box. I think
He's
it
like
was the well in their
he has
setup.
like the blondish hair thing, like the blondish like thing on his
Yeah,
hair or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. That
He
dude,
was classing to be fair.
he was very solid,
Like
and any ball in the box, he mopped up.
I think for Cardiff, like we it was like two different teams in both halves.
Mm,
Like we came out in the second half, we were a completely different team. And credit to Cardiff's defence, they held us at bay for the
yeah.
most part because we got two goals. Who let's admit were kind of lucky goals,
Mm,
but like we were there. But Cardiff's defence was actually pretty solid in that second half.
yeah.
And like we just and even though we got two goals, it doesn't cover up the fact that the performance was for the most part, abysmal.
Mm.
Like, and I think
Yeah,
that
I think it just
even
gives our goal difference. It's a bit
yeah,
lighter on our goal difference, isn't it? Because
yeah, but it
yeah.
doesn't change the fact we're still sat way lower than where we should be.
So our first sponsor is Family Outings Limited. Now these guys have been with us from the start, so you'll have heard us talk about these. They're a family-friendly coach trip business, and they run from Teesside to national destinations like Black, Blackpool, Pleasure Beach, Alton Towers, Flamingo Land, that type of stuff. But to concerts as well, and they go from Billingham, Middlesbrough, Hartlepool, and Stockton. So if you're in them areas, you're looking for a nice family holiday, a day out, a trip, whatever it may be. Speak to these guys because they have some really awesome coaches on.
Like
100%. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the tweet we retweeted. Someone had done a table based on expected goals. Now we
yeah,
were top of the league, like by a decent amount as well. Like we, in terms of like
it's
chance
I
conversion,
called it.
we should be top of the league, which
I
is
called
just
it. I said it when we were.
mind
I
blowing.
said it on that video when we were looking ahead to the new season. I called it. I
Mm,
said everyone's backing us, and it's not going to go the way that we think it's going to go. I said I was worried, and now maybe I've been a massive jinx. I don't know, but
yeah,
like I'm just like, but it's going exactly the way I thought it could do. Where like we're not doing as well as everyone's expecting us to.
yeah.
It's like someone's put a pin in our balloon from last season. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I seen a lad put out the on Twitter that Wilder Wilder's results towards the back end of last season, although that like promising, we got some awesome results. Beating Tottenham, beating Man U. It's potentially the demise of this season because that although he was brought in for the long term that and to revitalize the club, fully, completely restructure the club um, for the future. That kind of set the bar, that set the expectation. And I know he's came out in the press as well and said he doesn't know why the expectation's here.
It's not Wilder's
This, that, and
fault.
the other. But like, yeah, it's one of them, isn't it?
It's not Wilder's fault in the slightest, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because he was just being confident before the start of the season because he saw he had a good group of players there. He was expecting that he was going to get some good players in. For the most part, right, and this is a bold statement, I blame recruitment, right? For the most part. And I know that Wilder has a say in that. So it might be kind of on him, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
blame
It's
recruitment
like 50-50, isn't
because
it?
yeah, because we were, as I said before, we were promised marquee signings. I think you must have had a nightmare over that summer, posting up pics. We're being linked to everyone under the sun and their dog.
God, yeah.
Like, Like you were posting like every couple of hours. Oh, we're linked to this, we're linked to this, and we were all like, oh, come on then. We're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, this is gonna be good. This, and then we got what 10 players, like,
yeah,
and they're all not really what we expected.
yeah. I mean, 11
And
if you include
well,
Luongo now,
yeah,
but that come after
but
the window.
yeah, but like it's just not what we expected, and everyone's just. I just don't think anyone's able to handle that. It's not what everyone thought it was going to be. Everyone thought it was going to be down the central before the match, drink 4-0 victory every day, back to the central, drink, we're all partying. When it's not, it's not. It's Middlesbrough Football Club. When have we ever done it like that?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as
We,
far as 4-0 like every game, but
well, you know what I mean. I'm
I
on a
know what you're
rant.
trying to say though. I
I'm
know
on a
the point that
rant.
you're getting across. I know the point that you're getting across. I think like I agree in the sense of for me. I mean, we touched on the transfer window. That's a different video, but like I think it was 50-50. I think there was some brilliant signings in there, some real experience that was added, paired with some youngsters. I thought it was good for the
Yeah, I'm
most
not knocking
part,
any of them.
but
I'm
I
not knocking
agree.
any of them, but they're
No,
just
no,
not
no,
the
not at
big names
all.
we promised.
But
Like it's
yeah, I think when you let Jed Spence not so much, but I don't think we replaced Tav. And when we were touching
oh,
on,
Tav's been a massive miss.
yeah,
Tav's
when
been
we
a massive
touched
miss, and I
on
could talk about this for
Houghton,
hours.
yeah, when we touched on Houghton, I mean, the reason why Houghton was able to do such a good job under Wilder last season was because of the cover that Tavernier provided him, his tracking back, his work rate, and I put this out on Twitter before as well. The people that like would get at me for talking about Tav and his work rate and the energy that he brought. And people saying, "Oh yeah, but energy isn't everything. I don't see what he
Yeah,
brings to the team." Now you look at that midfield since the start of this season.
we could do
That's
with Tav back
like
tomorrow.
that is a proven example of the like how underrated he actually was and the job that he did at this football club. It was massive. It's a huge miss because not only did it give us that something a bit different, that passing range, that creativity going forward, but like you say, track back, he defended. It's just that energy that you've got, and you know, like we were talking about that Cardiff game. I know we got a couple of goals back. Um, but that energy was missing from the start, from the very start. Like you have players like that that make you tick. Everyone else works, everyone else moves, and we just didn't
Yeah,
have that. It's not there.
yeah, it's frustrating because like I think we're missing Tav. Like that, everyone will agree with me. We're missing Tav massively. Like he's doing well in the Premier League, by the way. That's what I'm doing. He's actually pretty well. But yeah, we're missing that creativity and like the all round package with Tav.
Mm,
I think that
yeah,
Tav did everything.
proper box to
Tav
box,
did,
didn't he?
yeah, box to box, did everything that was asked for him. Bish bash box, class player. Now we've got rid of him. I don't think we have a replacement. I don't think
No.
we have someone who can do the same jobs that Tav did, like all the time. And I think that if we're just relying on wing backs, it's not really the answer. Because I think we saw in a couple of goals, the wing backs coming forward, the ball just went whoop, over them. There you go, goal. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Like it's we can't rely on the wing backs being probably our only means of it because we go down that right hand side. God knows how many times per game.
mm,
It's like we just need. Obviously, I was going to say we can't get any more players. Stupid EFL, you know.
mm.
But but it's just it's not looking good, and I'm not very optimistic at this moment in time. I have seen a lot of memes on Twitter actually, of like people holding
You're
phones.
positive.
Yeah, people holding phones saying, "Hi, is that Ben Gibson? Are you free to come back?"
Yeah,
And then I've seen other ones. It's just I can't remember what I was going to say now, but it is frustrating because I think as Boro fans we haven't seen performances like this in a long time, and I think it's just because we're not getting used to them again.
yeah. I
Uh,
think we're going back to that just the Cardiff game while we round up that. One player I thought it was a bit controversial actually, but I'd put out that in my opinion in that Cardiff game, I know he got an assist, but Jones didn't have um, he didn't have the best of games in terms of crossing, and that
Yeah,
wasn't me. Like, just to clarify, it wasn't me necessarily like slating him and saying that he hasn't had um like good season or anything like that. It wasn't that. It was just in that game, I felt like he's one of them players where he gets himself, he works so hard and he's got so much energy and he gets himself into some brilliant positions. But when he's in them positions, he doesn't make the most of the crosses.
yeah,
So there was a few times where, I mean, like I say, that defender for them, he was shit hot. He got rid of every ball in the box, but he's got to beat the first man. And there was a couple of times it was either straight at the keeper, sometimes it went over the bar, just nowhere near a player in the box. Um, and the one time it does, Muniz gets on the end of it and scores a brilliant header. I thought Watmore changed the game. I thought he was
oh
brilliant
yeah,
when he came on. He's one of them players. You know what you get with Watmore. He's direct. He gives you energy. He's not afraid to have a shot on goal. Question though, Watmore better off the bench or as a starter?
off the bench,
I agree.
100%.
I agree.
You get because if he starts, he'll get gassed too quickly.
I agree. And
He'll
I
get
think,
gassed too quickly, and then we can't make the most of him.
yeah, I think
That's
that they've
what I'm
they've got
thinking.
enough in the tank, don't they, in the first half to deal
Yeah,
with that. Whereas in the second half, 60th, 70th minute, defenders are getting leggy. He's got way more on them. Whereas I
yeah.
feel like at the minute, I would start with Muniz and Force up top. That's what we brought him
But we're
in
still
for.
playing one striker up front though, and that's another point that's frustrating me.
Well, we
We're
did
still
start
playing.
against Cardiff with one up top.
Yeah, we play one up top, get two strikers, and start two strikers at up to start two strikers up top, right? Because I don't like having one. Because if we just have Muniz up top, you can't expect him to do everything on his own. I think Muniz needs someone up there with him.
Oh, you don't know.
One
He
hundred
does
percent.
100%. He plays
He
better
needs
with a
someone up
partner.
there with him. Exactly. So whether that's Force, whether that's Hobby, wherever he's gone. But yeah, play someone up there with him and then bring Watmore off the bench. As you said, 65, 70 minutes in. Defenders are getting leggy, defenders are getting tired. Get Watmore to take advantage of it and make the most of it.
Mm.
Well, we can't be starting Watmore, I don't think, because I just think he'll get gassed too quickly and then we can't really make the most of him.
Spencer Beck, Windows Teesside. Now, these guys have also been with us from the start. Really, really awesome guys. These guys are traditional window cleaners that literally cover the whole of Teesside. So, if your windows are a bit mucky, don't have time to clean them. Speak to these guys because look at some of their before and afters on Facebook. Do a cracking job. So yeah, go and speak to them. Yeah, I mean, we've shared our thoughts on the Cardiff game. He did start the Rotherham game, so we'll move on to the Rotherham game. Um, like I say, he did start that game, which was interesting. I think he definitely deserved the start. I do think that when we'll get into it later, but I think when Akpom is fit enough, I think it'll be Akpom and Moon is up top. I think that'll be the
Yeah.
go-to. And to be fair, I think there'll be a lot of success there. Um, but
I'm looking
yeah,
forward to Aqua coming back,
Moss
to be honest.
started against Rotherham, and for me, he had the best chances. And to be,
Mm.
he got himself into some good positions. He was direct. He was creating things. I mean,
Watmore was our best attacking threat going forward that game.
100%, 100% he was.
Like, gave him the ball. I was sat in the south stand. I was sat right behind the goal for that match. 'Cause I was with my mates. Um, so I was sat right, and you could see the moment he got the ball, he's getting round the defenders. He's looking, but it's again, there's no one there for him to, play it
Yeah,
to. He's doing everything on his own, and then obviously he couldn't like put the finished product away because he's got no support. Like he's a great player and he can do all. He's got the ability to do it, but he needs support. And I just think he was lacking that goal. But the chances he had, we could have been at least 2-0 up. Like the chances he had, like he was like
yeah. I
he
mean,
should have scored.
yeah. There was a few times where I thought, he could at least hit the target or he tested the keeper a bit more. I think, well, he has the opening chance, and the opening chance it falls to him like it's just outside the box. and it's a half volley. He's got to work to keep it down. But I thought if he tests the keeper there from that range and the power that he could get behind it, it could really test the keeper. But you move on from that. We created plenty of chances. I know late on in the game as well, he hit the post, um, and that literally hits the inside of the post, and it's one of them
Yeah,
that trickles all the way across the line and then goes out the other side. Instead of obviously falling into the
that
net.
just sums up our luck, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Really.
it does. It sums up our look at the minute and kind of summed up that game. I think it was a bit flat. Rotherham, they defended fairly well. I think their manager said after the game, he's obviously going to be a happier manager out of the two. I
Did you
think
go to the Rotherham game?
did what?
Did you go to the Rotherham game?
I didn't know. I didn't go to the Rotherham game. I watched
Can
it.
I
I
just
didn't
say
go.
as well, Rotherham fans extremely underrated.
Really?
Underrated. Yeah, they have some good fans, to be fair. They brought a fair few down, and they were singing quite a bit. Like they was out singing us at some points.
And
Only for
that's
the
pretty
two
hard to
old,
do. That's pretty
only
hard
for
to do.
the two old men behind me to scream obscene words, which I shall not be repeating on this podcast at them. But yeah, it was
Yeah. Um,
Rotherham fans are extremely underrated. I just wanted to get that in there because fair play to them.
yeah,
Even
no.
though they were chanting, they were getting under our skin a bit. They were chanting, "You're getting sacked in the morning. You're going down in the morning."
Well, I
It's
mean, like I said, there's not too much to talk about. It's a 0-0 draw against Rotherham.
yeah.
Um, what were your overall thoughts on that game then, and then we'll move on to the Chris Wallace
Um,
situation and that.
Overall thoughts, frustrating.
Mm,
Like I think that we I just think that there was not really much there. I think the boos at the end of the game pretty much summed up how all fans are feeling about us right now.
yeah, a bit flat.
Like, yeah, like I'm trying to get to Coventry away, right? When we're back after the
Yeah, yeah,
international break, and this is me praying that there's some travel club coach seats available in the morning when I get paid.
yeah, because there's
Um,
some rail strikes or something that could affect
yeah,
the
and I'm not paying £211 for a train ticket.
no.
Um, so like, so yeah, so there was about I think there was five travel club seats when I looked earlier. So I'm hoping to God they're there in the morning
Yeah,
because then I'll be going to Coventry away. But I think if I go to Coventry away and we play like we played against Rotherham and Cardiff, I'll be straight down the ticket office asking for my money back.
mm,
Because it's fair play to the fans who were with us all the way through, but I think that fans are just getting frustrated now. Like everyone was frustrated after the game. I don't think I've ever heard so many swear words in the concourse in my life. Um, there was, you know, I saw people walk out after like 75, 80 minutes. Like the stadium started emptying.
yeah,
Cue the "Is there a fire drill?" chance from the
yeah, yeah.
Rotherham fans. But I think that just sums it up because Boro fans never usually leave that early.
Mm,
Like I think that there's something missing. We can't really put our finger on what it is yet. We'll get to Wilder in a minute. Is it Wilder? We don't know. But there's something missing, and it needs to be rectified as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll be making the long trip to Plymouth away next season.
Chris Clark solicitors. So Chris Clark, he is a massive, massive Borough fan. Chris spoke to us at the start of the season. He's a Borough lad. He set up when he moved to Staffordshire, and that's where the Chris Clark solicitors are based. But if you're local to that area, and you're looking for a solicitor that does criminal defence, conveyancing, wills, and probate, go and speak to Chris because they've got a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience in all of them backgrounds, and yeah, can get you all the help that you need. Oh God. Yeah, I think for me, like I said, the Rotherham game, my overall thoughts on the Rotherham game were it was poor. I think tactically, Wilder was a little bit apprehensive because we got caught out in the Cardiff game, so he
Yeah,
switched it up, focused more on the midfield, um, brought Crooksey in alongside Housen, which meant we didn't have as much going forward. Hence, we kept a clean sheet, but we didn't score.
I've noticed.
Um,
I've noticed a lot of people saying Matt Crooks has got incredibly slow at the moment.
it does seem that
Uh,
way. It seems like he's
yeah,
hitting the
he
ground when he's
seems to be a
running.
bit off.
Yeah,
Like I've noticed that he's not really like as fast as he was before. He's not really like he's a bit slow.
yeah.
Like,
No, it
and
does
I just
feel
wanted to
that
put
way.
that out there, and like because everyone's saying that he's not really the player he used to be. Like we don't know whether something's happened, we don't know, but like he just doesn't seem to have as much aggression and that as he used
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
especially for like the
I think
6 foot
everyone's
whatever
a
man
bit
he
off.
is.
I think
Yeah,
since like I say last season, I think everyone is a bit off. The players that featured, yeah, everyone's a bit off. I think fans need to, we can't get on the backs too much. I think we need to recognize the scale of the project. I think realistically, no club should be bringing in more than 10 players in a summer transfer window. I think that is a one off. That is a
yeah,
full on reshuffle of the entire squad. You know, we've got rid of some older players, um, and we have to realise that. I, I know he's had a couple of months, but some have joined the squad later than others. Some have been away international duty. It takes time to integrate players. And
yeah. Of course it does.
and
Yeah,
like I said, the scale of the project, we're full on restructuring this football club. We're turn it turning it into a promotion ready team, a sustainable club that you know follows the models and the likes of your Brightons, your Brentford, um,
hmm.
these type of clubs that are creating younger players. Um, and it sounds awful, but like more of a business treating it like that,
Yeah,
making profit, things like that. But we're not a choppy changey club anymore. We have to recognise that, and we have to stick with Chris Wilder and the players, and realise that at the end of the day, he was brought in, yes, one eye on the short term, but majority of the long term as well.
yeah,
I mean, let's not forget, a few seasons ago, we were facing relegation. Warnock comes in and he kind of steadies the ship. Wilder comes in and he like gets us, edging playoffs again. And yeah, this season hasn't started the way that we want, but let's be honest, Steve Cooper joined Nottingham Forest last season after 8 games, and they finished like fifth in the league, and they went up in the playoffs. So you just
oh,
don't know.
please God.
And we've got obviously the new head of scouting has came in from Crystal Palace.
Yes,
He's got a reputation. Kieran Scott trusts him. Um, he's got a really good reputation for young players. He's worked at some top clubs, Palace, Wolves, Norwich. So really good
Norwich.
experience, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think these 2 week international break, I really think it's a great opportunity for some players to come back. We've got Lennon to come back. We've got Akpom to come back. Then there's no excuses for me. Then we've got a full strength squad.
You
That
know what? I want to see Akpom and Mooners up top
Oh
together.
God, yeah,
That's what
that's
I
a
want to
must
see.
for me. That's a must.
That could be borderline amazing.
Mm.
Like when's Akpom due back? It's sometime soon, won't it?
It should be
We
after the international break.
Yeah. So once we get
Wilder
Akpom
expects him
back,
back after that.
I'd start playing Akpom and Mooners up top.
Yeah.
That's what I'd start doing because I want to see how they work off together. Because Akpom's got great potential. He showed it at the start before he
Mm.
got injured and all that. And then Mooners has got bags of energy. He's just one of them players who doesn't stop moving.
Yeah.
But I think if they play off each other, it could be very special. So I'm looking
Well, it
forward
can
to it.
work, and as long as they get the heads on the end of Ryan Giles crosses, um, and then low crosses from Isaiah Jones, there's no reason why. I mean, look at goals expected. There's no reason why we shouldn't be there or thereabouts.
Yeah,
And even if we're having defensive troubles, scoring goals wins you games. We just got to outscore the opposition team. That's how you win a game of football. So yeah, I think if we
absolutely.
can do that, yeah, I think make the most of these 2 weeks, come back fresh, and then we go again, and we trust him. We trust the process. We know that he's more than capable of succeeding. We know this style of football that he wants to play. We can feel the direction the club's going in, and I can guarantee that in a year's time, we will seriously zoom out and look at this small part of the season and go, "What were we worried about?" Like, I can't see us.
I tell you what, right? If we do a Nottingham Forest, right? If we're in the position we are now and we end up going up at the end of the season, right? People leave your comments on what you want me to do, right? Nothing outrageous, please. But like, I'll pick one of them. If we end up going up this season from this bit of the season, I will do whatever one of the comments say, right? Make it as outrageous as you want. Obviously there's a limit, but I will do that because I honestly think, right, that'd be quite good if we can do it now. I'm excited.
Yeah, it gives you
So
something to look forward to.
leave your comments, guys. What you want to see me do if we end up going up off the back of this, and I'll
Yeah,
do one of them.
yes.
Let's go because I'm
Let's
very,
do it.
very excited.
Let's do it. So to round up then, quick question, Wilder in or out?
In 1,000,000% in. And anyone on Twitter who's going to come at me, and anyone on Twitter who's typing hashtag Wilder out just because they're salty, right? Just because they're salty more than red car beats, just calm down. Just like I'm sick of going on Twitter after Boro games and Wilder's trending every time.
Yeah.
Every time you click on it and it's just like, I want Wilder out. Get Sean Dyche in now.
Oh God.
People who don't.
Scott
I
Parker.
know.
Jesus
Scott
Christ.
Parker. I
It's
know. I
rough.
was like,
Borough Twitter
get.
after a loss is so toxic. It's
It's
not even
so
funny.
good. I love it. I love it.
Brutal. It's absolutely
We need to
brutal.
start doing that tweet of the week thing. We really do.
I
It'd
know.
be so good.
It's crazy. I know there's
Like every time
Borough
every time
Doyle.
Boro lose, right? You don't see it with any other club, I don't think. Every time Boro lose, we're always trending on Twitter afterwards.
He's off
It's
it.
always us that are trending on Twitter because it's always just people that are having rants within 230 characters or however much it is.
Yeah.
It's like, and I love it. But people are just so salty. But while they're in 100%, and anyone who says otherwise, right, it is not right. Because I think Wilder needs to stay because it's not Wilder's fault. Wilder knows what he wants to do. If we bring a new manager in, I think it just disrupts the system too much and it makes it all, thingy too much. I think we stick with Wilder unless things get seriously in trouble. Then we can start thinking about, a change.
Mm.
But I think Wilder's the man for the job, 100%.
He's
Keep
more than
Wilder in.
capable of turning it around. He's been in positions like this
Yeah.
before, and he's got all the tools. All the recipe there for success, and there's no
Mm.
excuses for them players. For me, all of them are still more than capable of putting a great season together. It's a real quality side that they've all got brilliant attributes in their own positions. It's just about getting the best out of them, and when they're all at their
Yeah.
best. Same with last season. Even we had some players that were doubts. You give 100%, you get the best out on players. You can beat anyone on the day. So yeah, like I'm Wilder in as well. 100%. But yeah, that is where we'll round this one up. Um, yeah, catch you in the next one.
Been a pleasure as always.
See you later.